Hello, welcome back. This is part 2 of the trading guide, and we are trying to cover how to quickly gauge prices, how to create trade lines, and how to make a trade tempting to take without scamming yourself. So, we're going to start this off by learning how to price things. So, let's say I wanted a full art Bolton V. So, that number I had already checked before is 181. So let's say I am getting Rebel Clash 181, and then we just let it load, and we're going to try and price it out. So immediately we see there's a 10 offer, so it's probably less than 10. There's a 13 Sword and Shield offer. Sword and Shield is about 0.8 to the Rebel Clash, so that would put it at around 9 to 10-ish, so immediately we know that it's still less than 10. Now we're seeing 9s, 8s. So we know from that it's a little bit less than 8 at the very minimum, if not lower. So from there, I think that's all we're probably going to see here. But yeah, we're not seeing much else. There's an 8-pack. Yes, most people seem to be trying to sell theirs for 8. So let's say if we tried to give our Bolton. Obviously I don't have one right now, but as you can see, the highest that we seem to be seeing is about 6 to 6.5 packs. 6.5 packs being the one right here with the Shining Legend as well. So from there we can make an estimate that because we know that it's less than 8 and it's more than 6 to 6.5-ish, that is probably about 7 in value. So from there, how our pricing goes is just how quickly we're going to gauge it. Is if we're selling it to somebody, we'll probably charge them 7.5, so that way we're not being unreasonable to the point where they would just go to public trades rather than going to us. But we're also not taking a loss on it because we can probably offer 7 packs on public trades and it will likely go through. So that is how you quickly gauge prices. I hope that's a satisfactory explanation regarding let's talk about Tropical Beach, I guess, because that is a card that will come up if you intend to go down the trading path. So Tropical Beach is BW50 for 2012, and we see here that there are a lot of trades, and I know specifically that Darkness Energy is about 110 to 130 right now. Fairy Energy is about 30, and a lot of these are just varying in prices. So this is actually a large under offer, actually. Tropical Beach is one of the weirder cards because it's just about 650 to 700 packs right now. How do I get that number? It's really just experience, and if you join some of the discords, including mine in the bottom right corner of your screen right now, then you will actually be able to find some people who have tropical beaches and trade them often enough to keep a firm handle on the value. So we can see that there's also a lot of other cards that tend to be a lot more than this, but that should give you a overall idea on how Tropical Beach is a harder card to price, because once you exceed the 100 point, then it just becomes almost impossible to get a reasonable estimate without understanding everything that breaks it down. So now, regarding what I wanted to talk about in part 1, this is the beach scam. This is a beach scam. It involves 5 different Champions Festivals, and it mixes a beach right in that top right corner right there. And normally the Champions Festival trade for this would be a little bit, it would be almost even, so most people wouldn't even take this even if they had the festivals, but this is hiding the Tropical Beach to try and get it for as cheap as possible, and it is a very, very scummy thing to do. I do not suggest you do this. Please don't. I know that some people have actually gotten banned for it, so please take that to heart. From here we can see Hard Gold Soul Silver decks. These ones are actually redeemable from codes, so they tend to be a little bit cheaper in all honesty. So as far as 2 Tropical Beach goes, that's probably not the greatest offer. But yeah, that should cover it for pricing, quickly gauging a price on things. Otherwise, you can always feel free to ask in my Discord or just using PTCGOPRICES.com, and then you will get live data for how the prices are responding with one another. So now we're going to cover trading lines. So trading lines is the idea of trading a card that is worth little for trading a card that's worth a little bit more, for trading a card that's worth a little bit more, for trading a card that's worth a little bit more, and all of a sudden you have cards that are valuable. It is a multi-step process which takes a large amount of time, but it takes a lot less time if you can figure out what cards you want sooner. So we're going to cover a trading line that I came up with a little bit after Lost Thunder came out. This isn't a very major one, but it's a great one to get you introduced to the topic. So here it is. It is Totodile from Dragon Majesty. It's just I had an extra, and it's a random common, so it would be normal that it could go through for an Energy Evolutions Eevee. Then Energy Evolutions to Macargo to Shuckle to 2 Macargos, and all of a sudden I have a loop. I can trade the Macargo for the Shuckle and Shuckle for 2 Macargos as many times as I want, and I have an infinite amount of each just because of this. So these were my own posts. They each all went through on their very first try, so as a result I can be reasonably sure that these worked at the time that it was happening, but this was a long time ago now. This was a little bit after Lost Thunder came out, and that was, I want to say early 2019. So as a result, I don't suggest trying this line, but bold be the ones who do. So the most important factor when creating a trade line is what cards are popular right then. So your main focus when you're starting off is going to be getting the cards for budget decks, but as you go forward, you can start going for the cards that aren't in budget decks and starting trying to use trade lines to get the cards that aren't in budget decks. But prioritizing budget decks, we know that the Nuzzle build using Pachirisu as an engine to attach to each of your bench Nuzzle Pokemon, and Mulga to search them out, and Pikachu and Raichu to use Powerful Spark to do 20 times the number of lightning energy attached to all your Pokemon, which is heavily increased by Pachirisu attaching so much. These Nuzzle Pokemon being Pikachu, Raichu, Emolga, and Pachirisu are the main Nuzzle cards that you would be trading, and they see a lot of trades. But they're extremely cheap in value. Then another common that is also worth looking at is Galarian Zigzagoon. Galarian Zigzagoon is an amazing card because it puts 1 damage counter on one of your opponent's Pokemon when you play it down for free, and that is insane to say the least. Just getting a free 10 damage every single time you just put it into play. So combined with Super Scoop Up, combined with Scoop Up Net, combined with Scoop Up Cyclone, then you're just immediately getting excess damage. So as a result, it's a good card, but however, it's a common, so it's still very easy to get, which is why it's so great, just like the trade line that I showed before with Energy Evolution Eevee, where it's a great card for the decks that it's in, but some people just don't have it, but a lot of people have excess. So you can trade something that's generally worthless for one of these cards in the picture. You would have a hard time getting Raichu, but you can trade it for one of these cards in the picture, and you'll have a decently high chance that it will go through. And from there, you can start trading 1 Galarian Zigzagoon for 2 Nuzzle Pokemon, one Nuzzle for 1 Zigzagoon, or 2 Zigzagoon, or 3 Zigzagoon. You can test these out, and one of the most important parts of a trade line is figuring out how to optimize it as you go along. So this will take you time to do, and this is probably the safest way to make a profit slowly in this game. As far as other things go for trade lines, something that is very, very important right now is just trainer cards. Trainer cards are useful for every single deck. So as a result, you're going to want to look at one of the most staple trainer cards that is not obtainable in a theme deck, Marnie. Marnie is usable in pretty much every single deck, and once Ultra Prism rotates and Cynthia is gone, it's going to be almost a staple in every single deck, regardless of what you run. Marnie is a great card because it allows you to stop your opponent from building up a huge hand, as well as it allows you to get rid of cards from your hand and put them onto the bottom of the deck so you can see cards that you want to see. So overall, I know that I recommended to someone putting 3 Pachirisus and 3 Mulgas in a trade for a Marnie, for just a regular hollow, for just a non-hollow Marnie, and they were able to get it to go through. It went through every single time they put it up, and they put it up at least a dozen times. And it was a great line for them starting off because they were able to go from 2 Rebel Clash packs to 20 by the end of the week. So I highly suggest figuring out what trainers are good right now, what trainers are worth about 0.5 plus, and what cards are usable for budget decks right now, and how easily can I get them and trade them up slowly but surely. The biggest factor, as I said before, is going to be figuring out what's worth what's popular, what are the budget decks, and one of the most important factors as you go along is going to be being able to optimize your trade lines. If you can optimize your trade lines, you'll make infinite profit. And I think that trade lines are one of the most useful things that you can learn about, and I'm glad that you stuck along for this. Now, our final topic for this is going to be... Sorry about that. I've got allergies there. Pain in the ass. But it's going to be making your public trade tempting to take. So let's say I wanted the Bolton V that we talked about a little bit before. So we approximated it to be worth about 7 packs. So I'm going to try and offer a little bit lower, but I'm going to try and make it worth somebody's while to take this trade. So keeping in mind that I'm trying to offer it a little bit less than normal, I'm going to try and chuck in a couple Nuzzelmons. 1, 2, 3, and we'll chuck in 3 Detonators because I seem to be out of Pachirisus and Pikachus. But this is an easy way for me to just give a demonstration for how you can do this, and then I'm also going to toss in a couple Lightning Energy. These Lightning Energy are specifically very, very cheap. As I showed before from the prior video, you can see the Raichu GX tin, which is super, super cheap, and you can get it at cardcavernTCGs.com. They are incredibly cheap. And every single tin comes with 6 of these energies. So I'm going to toss in 3 of these energies because now this is looking like a tempting offer, because not only are they getting 6 packs, which is meeting the lowest offer that anybody else was giving other than the Shining Legends trade, but most people don't want Shining Legends packs right now. Then I'm also giving 6 Nuzzlemons, which can be used for budget decks for people that just happen to have 1 Boltund, as well as 3 Lightning Energy. So these are important factors to consider when you're making a trade line, making a tempting offer by making it something that people are going to want, but also has the chance of actually going through. So we're going to go to this 8-hour mark and start looking at other people's trades. I apologize to any of the other traders who are watching this because your trade lines may have to be revealed because of this, but yeah, this is YouTube and this is PTCGO. Anybody can do this. All I am doing is making sure that everybody knows that they can do this. So we are now at the 5-ish hour mark. 6 hour. Alright, we can just stop here. We can just stop here and see what's up. So, Silent Lab for a bunch of... This is Misty Star 3. They are trying to give 15 random rares for an uncommon. So normally this would be a tempting offer. However, Silent Lab is a very good card. It nullifies all basic Pokemon with abilities, as well as the fact that it's used in a very in a budget deck called Baby Alternate Coruscant. You may have heard of it, you may not have. It's an expanded, and it is a very good card in that result. Silent Labs actually tend to go for between 0.66 to 1 pack. You can use the pack ratio at shortlist.ptcgo, tinyurl.com/shortlistptcgo, and you will be able to find the pack ratios there, and you will be able to find out what cards are about worth that much. Now, otherwise, we can also look at Pikachu collection boxes, giving 25 Pikachu collection boxes for a Rebel Clash pack. I'm going to do this one because recently, a lot of players with too many coins on their hands have been redeeming them for Pikachu avatar collection boxes and then trading those Pikachu avatar collection boxes for random cards. And the standard rate right now, I've got it reported in the shortlist, is actually about 0.03, so about 33 Pikachu avatar collection boxes to the Rebel Clash pack. So considering they were only asking for 25, I'm more than happy to take that trade, because I will be able to get more later for about the 0.03 rate. Now we can see here there's another trade. Now, there is something interesting to note about this trade. Because this is our advanced section, I'm more than comfortable about talking about this, but notice how I have unchecked and I'm on avatar. I talked about in the prior video for sniping how to use the filters to get down later, but specifically here, if I was on the cards filter, which is the default filter, I would never have seen this trade because there are no cards in here. And even if I unchecked it, there is a glitch in PTCGO that makes it so that you cannot see non-card for card trades if you are on the card filter at all. So it's important to either go to gameplay, go to packs, go to avatar, whatever you've got to do. But unfortunately, cards filter is not the most optimal filter as of right now. Now, looking at other trades, I can give an Oricorio for a Sword and Shield pack. I can get usually about a Rebel Clash pack at minimum for it, so I'm not tempted by that trade. But we can also see this is what they are doing to make the trade tempting. They're giving a huge number, so that way it tells the person, oh, I can get a huge number of packs for this. And then it turns out to be about half the value in terms of what it's worth for the packs, but they're trying to lure you in by giving Deoxys, by giving Carping, by giving Kyogre, Meloetta, Metagross, all sorts of Pokemon, and then there's the Dedenne, which is a holo from the Radiant Collection, and making it a tempting offer for people to take because they see cards that they may like or want. So the whole point of these is going to be finding trades that people want to take and making your trades good enough that people will look at them and say, yeah, I could see myself taking that. So now this one's also another case. This is definitely worth looking at. One Rebel Clash pack, one Oleana, one Ordinary Rod, and one Palpad. Ordinary Rod and Palpad are trainers that do see use a lot, so some people will be tempted to take this trade. Now on the other side, Rillaboom League promo. The reason why this is important is because there are codes that give Rillaboom League promo, and these codes that give it automatically give you 4 of the Rillaboom League promo. So anybody who redeemed this code now has 4 of those League promos, and they'd most of the time be fine with giving 3 of them for their pack. This is not a great trade to take. You can usually get about 0.66 per League promo Rillaboom, so this would be a loss about 0.5 pretty easily. And then there's the Thwackies and the Grookis, which are just commons and uncommons, so most people have those already. So that is how to make a trade tempting, and how people are able to take most advantage of this, and how you can also take most advantage of this. Please be sure to leave in the comments below whatever recommendations you may have for what else I should cover, because I'm more than happy to cover anything having to do with PTCGO trading. Thank you again. We'll be moving on to deck building content in the near future, and I hope you guys will stay tuned. Thank you again. This has been Vixen, and have a good day.